Oh, here we go. Here's a new topic. This topic really took off this past week. The new topic is this racist? Last week, we had some people asking some questions, and I can't fucking remember what the hell they were. I remember I was saying when I drive down the street and somebody cuts me off, I play a game out here in Los Angeles, a game called Old or Asian. And the person I'm riding with, we both have to guess. One person picks old, the other person picks Asian. You know, and then you pull up alongside and you take a look. And I swear to God, 9 times out of 10, it's one or the other. You know? And if it's old and Asian, that's like hitting the green 00 in fucking roulette. Nobody wins. Unless you picked it. Unless you said old Asian. All right, so I'd just be like, is that fucking racist, right? And evidently somebody chimed in last week and said, it's actually racist and ageist to say that. So, yeah, so I guess I have a racist, ageist game. But let me ask you this. What about the factor that it's just me and my car? Aren't you allowed to say fucked up shit in your car? Doesn't everybody sort of become like Michael Douglas and falling down when you get in your car? Don't you say fucked up shit? And when I say don't you, I mean everybody, not just white people. Come on, black people, you know what you say about us. Huh? You know what you say. Mexicans, huh? You know what you say. Everybody knows what they say. Everybody says this stuff. Samoans, come on. You know what you say when you're out there fucking tackling a tree and turning it into a fucking surfboard, right? Isn't that what you guys do? Are those the toughest fucking people on the planet? I mean, my whole knowledge of Samoans is basically professional wrestling, USC football, and that dude on the Steelers. I've just never seen a fucking pussy who's a Samoan. You know, those are like the real 300s people, you know, except they're not in the snow. You know? They are a bunch of fatties, though. Why don't they do a Samoan fucking Biggest Loser? That would be the shit. Some fat fucking Samoan dudes, you bring them in there, you get them into insane shape, and then at the end of the show, rather than winning like $200,000, they just get drafted into the NFL, and they become millionaires. Look at that. See that, people? That's why I moved out to L.A. Because I can create a show out of nothing. Can't get it on the fucking air, but I can create one. Yes, I am. That is cryptic talk, and I'm not ready to talk about that failure in my career. All right, let's plow ahead. So here we go. Is this racist? This is a question I have. Is it racist for me to root for a white running back at this point? You know, considering the last good one was like Jim Kick and Larry Zonka. John Riggins, right? Who's the last? That's a good, you know what? I don't know the answer to this. Who was the last white dude to win the rushing title? All right, let me think here. It's definitely nobody, and I mean nobody, before Walter Payton. There is no fucking way. It was Walter Payton was in the league. Earl Campbell then came. Billy Sims then came into the fucking league. There was always guys. And there was guys who were just, they weren't leading the league, but they were still killing it. Like Joe Cribbs, you remember him? Who else? John Riggins was around then, but I don't think, maybe the strike season, did he win it? Who else came after that? George Rogers, O.J. Anderson, Tony Dorsett. How the fuck did Franco Harris? Rick Upchurch? No, he wasn't a running back. Wilbert Montgomery. I'm going right through all the fucking teams. They all had Chuck Muncie. And you Roger Craig. Yeah, there was no way. But they had that psycho white dude who was fucking awesome on that team. I forget his name, but he wasn't leading the league. Who was the last guy? All right, let's go pre that. Then you got who? Floyd Little, Gale Sayers. We're getting back to then. Jesus Christ. Has a white running back ever done it? I don't even fucking know. So that's what I'm saying. You know, it's like when black people root for like a black quarterback. Or like all the fucking Asian people freak out when Hideki Matsui came to town. You know, and all of a sudden they give a shit about the Yankees because they got one of their guys on there because there's not a lot of Asian guys in the Major League Baseball. I didn't look at them like they were racist. So, can I be excited about that fucking white dude who runs for the Cleveland Browns, who has that face mask that looks like the front of a Dodge Ram truck? Huh? Let me know. Answer that question. I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna work out all my bullshit on this podcast. All right. So evidently, older Asian is ageist and racist. That doesn't mean I'm gonna stop doing it. There's no hate in my heart when I do it. You know. Look at me justifying it. As I sit on a fucking bed with white sheets on it. For comfort, okay? There's none with holes in it. I'm not putting it on my head, all right? So relax. All right, here we go. This is coming from Japan, but these are actually our troops. We have troops based over there because we're making sure that no one takes the Japanese people's freedom. That's what we do. We're so concerned about everybody's freedom around the world that we muscle our way in and we put a base there. That's like our Starbucks for the world. We put a base there and we just make sure that everybody's all hunky-dory, looking out for your best interests. Fuck, am I getting sick? Okay. Hey, Bill, your Is It Racist segment was the source of much comedy and pain yesterday for us out here, stationed in Japan. Racism is always a source of a headache, and particularly in the military, where great lengths are taken to ensure that it's not tolerated at all. Well, that's great. That's a good thing. For the most part, they do a great job. Of course, there's always going to be idiots everywhere. But here's a funny thing that happened involving your previous podcast. Somehow I'm fucking implicated halfway across the world. Oh, here we go. So I'm listening to your podcast, admittedly inappropriately at work. And my coworker, who's also black. All right, let's stop. Let's look at the stats. This is a black guy. He's hanging out with another black guy. Nobody get nervous. And my coworker, who's also black, and I are laughing at your crazy ass. Now, this guy's definitely black because how white did that sound coming out of my voice? Out of my mouth, I mean. Out of my voice. Sorry, people. Laughing at your crazy ass, yo. You did the dubba thing about the Indian reading from one of your fans' letters. So my guy is like, yeah, that shit is racist. And you know he's going to get an email from some idiot asking, is bule, click, 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 racist, Bill? I don't know what the fuck that is. That's some sort of African accent. He goes, I keep fucking that thing up. I actually did this podcast the other day and I messed that up. Let me just read his entire quote. I'm going to read it as white as possible. So my friend, who's African-American, said, yeah, that shit is racist. You know he's going to get an email from some idiot asking, is bule, click, 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 racist, Bill? I mean, I know I'm not racist, so I don't know. I just don't know. Here's where it goes Twilight Zone. A woman passing by in the hallway was evidently offended by my coworker's insensitive impression of African dialect. So that is African, all right. Bole, something like that. Shaka Zulu, right? So this coworker is just walking by as this dude's talking about my podcast, and she gets offended by the black guy's impression of an African. All right? It's a white lady who gets offended. He tried to explain to her that he was using it as an example and even offered to play back the portion of the podcast that it applied to. But it seemed a bit like she was determined to take advantage of this situation to make some sort of point. So picture this visual, Bill. A white woman is sitting there preparing a statement about a black guy making racist comments about black people in front of another black guy, myself. And all of this being presented to the section commander who happens to be Japanese American. My God. I'm sitting there as a witness, biting my lip, trying not to laugh because I swear I could see on the commander's face, he was like, dear baby Jesus, what the fuck is going on here? Like he was trying to blink himself out of the room in this entire situation. So we'll see where this goes in the upcoming weeks. He sent me another email, and the commander there, the Japanese-American commander, told the African-American to handle it within his he just handled it himself with the Caucasian-American. There. Was that politically correct enough? You hit it on the head in your last podcast as far as It's what's in your heart most times in regards to whether or not something is racist. People know. Fuck all that. Oh, I was unaware. Shit. If you say something or do something and then you wonder if it's racist or not, chances are it probably is/was. If the first thing that comes out of your mouth is, I'm not a racist or anything, but I already know I'm in for some bullshit. The saying that anything you say, with that saying, anything you say before the word but is automatically racist. And that is true at least 98% of the time. And nowadays, the internet has just given people, mostly idiots and cowards, a voice of anonymity for shit like that. Yeah, that's something is really depressing, is the fucking level of racist comments on fucking YouTube. Like that pussy shit where no one can see you, no one can get you, and you're talking all that fucking shit. And I don't know. That's depressing. That is really depressing. Anyways, on the flip side, is the shit some black people say about any other race. Shit. Sorry. I was doing really well reading out loud this week. Let me blow through this last paragraph. I swear to God, and I'll end the torture. On the flip side, is the shit some blacks say about any other race offensive. Oh, that's not my fault. He wrote that. About any other race, offensive and racist, of course. Anyone that says no is being an idiot. I'm a realist. It's why I don't tolerate any extra hip. I grew up around black guys, and I have an NWA cassette tape, white guys saying the N-word around me. It's also why you never hear me say cracker or any other ethnic slur, even in jest. So anyways, he's got a question. He said, is it racist when you hear a story about an athlete shooting someone in a strip club and you assume you know what color he was? Maybe, to some. Is it racist when I hear about a polar bear slapping the shit out of someone's kid or a video of a guy shitting in a girl's mouth and I'm pretty sure I know what color all of those people are not? Oh, I'm pretty sure I know what color all of those people are not. Just my two cents. Well, thank you for chiming in. That's funny that you bring up that whole news story because someone else wrote in to ask me if they thought that if this was like a racist game. They said, Bill, I like to play a little game similar to your Asian or old person driving game, except my game involves the evening news. It's called Beaner, Black Guy, or Crazy Ass Cracker. Just to clarify, I am Hispanic, parentheses, Latino, Mexican, or whatever other dumbass term someone has come up with. So saying Beaner is okay. See, now this is why I wanted to do this segment. This is the exact fucking reason. Okay, he says Beaner, Black Guy, and Cracker. All right? And he goes, I can say Beaner because I'm Mexican. Well, then why can you say Cracker ass Cracker? Right? It's because I'm white and no one gives a fuck about that one. See what I'm saying? This is something that I learned from doing stand-up in front of all different kinds of people. That's what I learned. I learned that everybody basically, it's not that they're selfish. They look out of their own head. You can't help but do that. So you just see shit from your own perspective. Like one night I was doing this gig, right? Down at the old Boston Comedy Club in New York City. And one of the acts that was going up was this, I think I told this story before. It was a comedy team. It was this Asian guy and girl. And they went up there and they did this fucking rap. Okay? And they went up there and they stuck their teeth out like they had buck teeth. And then they put, you know those glasses that you can put on, those joke ones that make your eyes look Asian? They had those, they're Asian, and yet they still put those on. And then the other guy had on a fake gold chain with a fucking fortune cookie hanging off the thing. So I'm sitting there looking at them before they're going up, going, oh, man, this isn't going to fly. This isn't going to fly with this fucking crowd. This is basically, what do you call that shit? What was that shit back in the day in old-time Hollywood? It was almost like Asian blackface. Like what they were doing was ridiculous. So I was thinking that black people watching it were going to be like, just all the shit that they've been through would look at it and be like, why are they selling out their own fucking race? This is horrific. This is fucking horrific. And they didn't. That act went up there and they fucking destroyed and everybody laughed their balls off. They thought the fortune cookie thing was fucking hilarious. And I was just like, yeah, people, I don't know. Maybe it's because they're shitting on their own race. What the fuck are you supposed to do? I don't know. I just found that shit fascinating. So does that pertain to what the fuck I just said? I don't know. This cold medicine's kicking in. Let me finish this. So anyways, this is basically what this guy does. He says, just to clarify. Okay, now this game started because I hate watching the news. And no matter what I'm watching, SportsCenter usually, my wife will want to change it. So naturally, being the asshole that I am, I had to figure out a way to ruin it for her. So what I do is turn away from the news whenever they begin explaining the crimes or events of the day. Based on the description of the crime or event and how it was committed or performed, I yell either beaner, black guy, or crazy-ass cracker. Dude, that actually sounds like a fun fucking game. Well, I wouldn't say crazy-ass cracker. I would just say fucking white dude. Example, news report says, would I say beaner? No, I wouldn't. That's one of the worst ones ever. Beaner. It's got no ring. It's got no flow. That must have been a bad day with white people. You know, usually we're a lot more creative than that. You know, name you after a fucking vegetable. Is it a vegetable? Is it a fruit? What the fuck is it? I don't fucking know. Anyways, let's plow ahead. Example, news reporter says, a man was stabbed, and I yell out, beaner. I know it's a beaner because we Mexicans can't afford guns and still pay for our illegal extended family members we have living with us in our 2-bedroom house. If the news report says a drive-by shooting, I yell, black guy. Come on, do I really have to explain the reason behind that one? And of course, if I hear the suspect had body parts of his victims in the refrigerator, fucking crazy-ass cracker. It's because of this game that my wife has stopped watching the news altogether, and I now have peace and quiet to enjoy my top plays of the day fix on SportsCenter. Well, good for you. Good for you. Now, see, that's something I don't think that that's racist, because what you don't have any hatred towards any of those groups. What you're doing is you don't want to watch the news. It's fucking depressing. You want to watch sports. And then she puts on a bunch of depressing shit. And what are you going to do? Sit there and get depressed? Or are you going to fucking entertain yourself? So you turn it into a fucking game. It's actually I'm not offended by it. I think that's fucking funny. And there's a lot of truth to it. Much as I hate to admit some of the shit, yeah, we're fucking body parts. Those scat videos. I've never seen a black guy in a scat video. Not that I've fucking, watched those things, but I have done the Opie and Anthony show, and occasionally a weird video will come up. Jesus. I have scar tissue in my brain from that show a couple of times. They brought up one video one time. I'm not even going to describe it. I just refuse to watch it, and it still haunts me, and I never even fucking saw it. And I'm not talking about 2 girls in 1 cup, because I did see that one. But they had another one where a guy had a jar, and he did something with that jar that you didn't think was natural. He somehow did it, and then I'm going to use an engineering term here. The structure failed. The structure failed. The outside pressure was too much for the structure, and at which point it reached a breaking point and it failed. The jar broke in the dude's ass. Okay, I'm not gonna... And I refused to look at the video, and all I heard was everybody else in the video screaming in horror as this guy tried to avoid an embarrassing trip to the emergency room and clear up the situation himself. All right, I'm sorry. That's one of the most disgusting things I've ever described in the podcast. Let's plow ahead. Here's a guy responding to the dibba dubba. Is that racist? Anyway, so yeah, Indians aren't big white people fans because the British controlled their country for hundreds of years. See that once again? See, we all can make ignorant statements. So then you should hate the English. Why do you hate all white people? See that? We're all just as dumb. Oh, God damn it. This is enjoyable. All right, let's plow.